Yeah. Blackjack. Life is like a game of cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Yeah. Blackjack. To play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy Delray, Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate your time. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel. Pass the word. Hit the bell notification if you want to be notified when I drop some more of this Straight Game. I'm going to get right into it. This question comes from a brother from Oakland, California. And the question is, do you think that Tupac was jealous of Biggie and knew that Biggie had nothing to do with him being set up in New York when he was shot at Quad Studios? Interesting question. Very interesting question. I can take it from some of the things that Tupac had said in regards to Biggie in his last interview and also the interview that he had did with Sway.
But Biggie is not a player. He's never been. He's never had bitches until he got some fucking money. That's a trick. That's not a player. He's not a popper. So my point was to prove him wrong. I took everything that he glamorized and I personified it. Right.
I think there was a bit of a jealousy or competitive bravado, if you will. And the fact of the matter is, when Tupac was in jail, you must understand, and felt like he was abandoned by most of the people that he had looked out for, Biggie included. Biggie's song, One More Chance, was the #1 song in the country. So you can imagine, like Tupac said, how he felt. But I think, you know, that Biggie had to do something for him, or perhaps wasn't sending him no money or anything like that. You know, people get a little bit of jealous and a little bit mad. It wasn't like when Tupac was doing the things that he was doing for Biggie, he expected anything in return, you know, because a lot of times, like I said, once again, you know, we make that mistake thinking that some of the things that we're going to do for people, that they'll do them in return. So from that perspective, I think that there was a little bit of, you know, a little bit of edge of jealousy. You know what I mean? You and your feelings, and you know, Biggie on top of the world, knowing what you had done for him. And this is a personal thing for Tupac, not that everybody else can, you know, say what he felt. I'm talking about what he talked about and how he said the things that he said. You know what I mean? You know, because him being shot at Quad had nothing to do with him being with Faith. You know, that was a move that you would make, you know what I mean, to show somebody that, yeah, you ain't who you say you are because I slept with your wife. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, you ain't that much of a baller and you ain't that much of a big papa and all of that, you know, because I slept with your wife. You know what I mean? That's proving a point beyond saying that, yo, you know what? You set me up and you had something to do with what was going on and so on and so forth. So, you know, if you want to be able to decipher between the two, I would have to say, yeah, that was basically Tupac basically trying to prove a point. And proving that point, you know, it comes from a place of wanting revenge, wanting to get back at, you know what I mean, and feeling like somebody had disrespected you or had lost respect for you or not respected you at all. And so, yeah, I think, you know, a little bit of, you know, a little bit of jealousy, a little bit of, you know, revenge, a little bit of contentment, you know what I mean, for Biggie at that particular time. But like I said, we can't lose the fact that Biggie's song, One More Chance, was the #1 record when Tupac was in jail. So you can imagine, you know, and then him knowing all of the things he know about Biggie and him leaving the guns in his room, you know, in his hotel room, you know, the night of the situation that happened with the young lady in New York, and all of those things. See, Tupac knowing all of this stuff, you know. So along with that, like I said, the anger, the jealousy, the everything, and so on and so forth. People may focus on just that one word, jealousy, but you know, there's a combination of emotions that he felt at that particular time. And as a matter of fact, you know, his manager at the time spoke on it, and Watani Tahimba said that that much of Tupac's anger at Biggie Smalls, Puffy's most successful rapper, was based on professional jealousy. This is Tupac manager speaking at the time. Tupac was in jail, and Biggie's single "One More Chance" was the #1 on the charts. In an interview with the Source magazine in 1996, Tupac, that's when he had claimed he had been sleeping with Biggie's wife, the singer Faith Evans, and he went to so far as to taunt Biggie about it in a song. "I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker." You know, and so with that, you know what I mean? That's that thing where you kind of go both ways with it. But more importantly, his manager even identified with that. And that was somebody who was close to him, who, you know, went to the jail to see him. You know, the guy who also was wheeling Tupac in the courtroom in the actual wheelchair. And like I said, if anybody would know that, he would know that from talking to Tupac and speaking with him and really finding out what the source of disenchantment was between him and Biggie. Like I said, on the side of whether he knew or really knew that Biggie had nothing to do with it, I really couldn't tell you that. But what I could say is this, because Tupac, you know, he felt what he felt, and his feelings were valid, and his feelings were the only feelings that were valid in regards to that situation. But I know when he got out of jail, Tupac knew that Biggie didn't have anything to do with it. And what let me know that was this statement that he made right here.
That's why I'm telling you now, when I see Biggie, it's not going to be like we're going to attack him every time. I might be in a good mood, and I might not want to be going. This shit is so minor. This is not about me and Biggie. Everybody keep talking about it. Y'all making this nigga bigger than he is. This is a major plan, a major strategy. That was the impetus or the starter or the generator that kicked it off. They happen to be the regime before me. Just like Republicans hate Carter or whatever, now the Republicans is like, we can't wait for Bush to come back, you know? Just like now I'm in power, everybody that love Biggie, they all like, I can't wait for Biggie to come back, or somebody like that, or Nas. That's why they root for them. They rooting for they people. And when I was gone, that's why all my niggas was like, we can't wait for them to come, and that's why they rushed the polls.
And so when you deal with that and you understand that, there came a time where the beef and the situation in regards to what Tupac and Biggie was going through became a marketable item, or should I say a catalyst to be able to market, you know, their music, as well as, you know, that whole thing involving the East and West Coast thing, you know, from the Vibe magazine, the Source magazine, and all of those things. Because like I said, they were throwing jabs back at each other, you know, back and forth. And a lot of people said that, you know, recently Charlie Baltimore basically said that Long Kiss Goodnight wasn't about Tupac, and it absolutely was. You know, one thing Biggie did that Tupac didn't do was, Tupac was the kind of guy, if he wanted to say something about you, he would say it directly about you. You would hear your name. You would know that it was from him, and it came from him, and it came from his heart, or whatever he was feeling at that time. Tupac was a direct shooter. Most people know, who listen to hip hop and study the game, and know, you know, you don't always have to say somebody's name. You know, you don't always have to, you know, be direct. And Biggie was one of those guys that knew how to throw a real good subliminal shot at you, and it might be something that just you and him know. Like when he said, please blood flood your dungarees, and that's just the half of my warpath. And then when he said, laugh now, cry later, I knew before I was sent the video just recently. Somebody sent me a video showing me, you know, that, you know, but I knew about the laugh now, cry later tattoo on Tupac before that somebody sent me this. So I knew what it was, and I knew it was in reference to. And another thing with the blood floods your dungarees meaning the blood on your dungarees when you were shot at Quad, right? So it would give inference that Biggie, if you will, somehow had something to do with that. It gave him more of a bigger an appearance that he was a shot caller, if you will. Like somehow, some way he had something to do. You know, blood floods your dungarees, you know what I mean? Because, you know, in the bravado in the rap. So that's why I said I use the word bravado, because a lot of times, it's just they shooting shit at each other. You know what I mean? And saying certain things. But like I said, I do know for a fact that Tupac slept with Faith. That's a fact. You know what I mean? But like I said, so all of those things, and now, this record had came out. I don't know when it was recorded, but this record had came out after Tupac was gone. And so that's why a lot of people read into that what they read into that when Biggie came to California. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. But like I said, the word jealousy, from Tupac's manager, as you saw, was definitely there. Like I say, he was feeling some kind of way. You know what I mean? Biggie got the #1 record. You know what I mean? And I'm in jail. I feel a certain kind of way. So yeah. And like I said, so much so that, he would throw the shot out at Biggie, in regards to Faith, in March of '96 about, in the Source magazine. Like, yeah, you ain't this, that, and the other, and I did this with your wife. So yeah, but and a lot of the stuff they started to use as far as marketing and trying to sell records. And like I said, that one part where Tupac had said the thing about Biggie really let me know that, he felt like, it wasn't always going to be about Biggie. It wasn't always going, I might not always rush him when I see him. It was bigger than him. So him saying that it was bigger than Biggie basically let me know that at that particular time, he knew that Biggie didn't have anything to do with, setting him up in New York. I think he knew that was above Biggie's pay grade at that particular time, when he did that interview with Rob Marriott. Like I said, your boy Delray, straight game.